Hello, fourth grade students. It is me, Miss Cheddar. You probably have forgotten me by now. Hopefully not. I am here to teach you your reading skill for the week. And just like in school, we keep the same reading skill for 2 weeks in a row. So last week, Miss Wilger went over main idea and details with you. And this week, I'm going to review it with you and just kind of talk about it a little bit more. And you're going to practice it again in your reading activities. Hopefully you can kind of remember what main idea and details is. I'm going to start with my learning target. So this is what I want you to be able to know and learn this week in reading. And so it says, I can identify and define the main idea and details of a text. And I wrote some little words to help us remember what some of these words mean. So I can identify, when we identify something, we're finding it, we're saying, here it is. So I want you to be able to find the main idea and details when you read a paragraph this week or when you read a book. And you're going to do that in your organizer. You're going to use your skill book and use that organizer to do that. When we define something, we're able to tell what it means. And so we're in our second week here. We should be able to say what the main idea is and what the details are. I'm going to review them with you. And then that's our skill, main idea and details. And I will review those with you as well. So here are the main idea and details definitions. This is what they mean. So the main idea, if you can remember from last week, is what the text is mostly about. So as you're reading a book or a paragraph or a few pages, you can identify what the main idea is. You can say, here's the main idea. It's what that section or that book is mostly about, the big idea. The details then are pieces of information that support that main idea. So pieces of information that are about that main idea, that show you that that is the main idea. This is kind of like your proof. Like if I say, hey, what's the main idea of this paragraph? And you say, oh, it's about this. The details are how you knew. You're going to say, oh, well, there was this sentence and this sentence and this sentence, and that helped me know. So we are going to read a paragraph, and we're going to use our organizer to identify the main idea and the details of that paragraph. And so I'm going to have you get your skill books this week, and you're going to find an organizer. It looks like this, and my skill book, where it has 3 boxes on the top and 1 box on the bottom, or you can draw your own. And this is where we're going to put that big picture, that main idea, and here's where we're going to write a sentence or two that helped us know that was the main idea. Before we do that, I wanted to give you some examples. I know Miss Wilger last week talked to you about when you had read a penguin book for us just a few weeks ago. So for example, if I was reading a penguin book, I might say the main idea of that whole book is penguins. And then the details could be that it talks about the food and the where it lives, what its like skin is like, and all that type of stuff could be details. But I also could find the main idea of like 1 page. So maybe I find in that book about penguins a page that's all about food. Well, then I'd say, oh, the main idea, the big picture is what a penguin eats. And then the details would be those different sentences that talk about what a penguin eats. It eats this at this time, or it eats this at a different time. And those would be our supporting details. We also use main idea and details a lot when we do writing. And so if you can remember when you wrote your country reports right before we went to spring break, you all had paragraphs, and your paragraphs had a main idea. They had a big picture, and then your other sentences were your details. They were what supported that main idea. So for example, you had a paragraph all about culture. And so that would be the main idea. It'd be the culture of Spain, and then your details would be all those sentences where you wrote about this is what they wear, this is what food they ate, this is what traditions and holidays they had. Those would be your details. So you guys have used this already, honestly, a lot. It's just practicing it in a little bit different way during reading. So we are gonna, if you need to pause and get your organizer, go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna read our paragraph. Okay, we are going to start with reading our paragraph. So this is our paragraph, and as you can see from the picture of the elephants, that's what it's going to be about. So it says, elephants are the largest living land mammals. The Asian elephant, also known as the Indian elephant, can weigh up to 11,000 pounds. The African elephant is even bigger, weighing as much as 20,000 pounds. The elephant's gestation period is 22 months, the longest of any mammal, because baby elephants weigh an average of 260 pounds at birth. The largest elephant ever measured was 13 feet tall and weighed 24,000 pounds. Now, some things that help me when I'm looking for the main idea is sometimes I just look at those different sentences and think, what are they all pointing towards, or what are they all about? Because remember, the details always support the main idea. So they're all going to be about one general thing. So I look and I can say that they're all about elephants, which would be true. But we can go even more specific than that. We don't want to go too broad, even though the main idea is supposed to be broad. We want to be thinking more specifically. And as I look, I see it talks about how much the Indian elephant weighs, how much the African elephant weighs, how much a baby elephant weighs. It tells me what the largest elephant looked like. So a lot of it has to do, I can see, about size and about the elephant size. And so I'm already thinking that that's going to be the main idea. And I know that these different sentences could be details to that. Another thing that I often look at is the first sentence. And that's not always something you can do because not all paragraphs start like that. But often in a paragraph, the main idea will be near the beginning. They usually state it right away. And as I look, I see that the first sentence is, elephants are the largest living land animals, or land mammals. And then all those other sentences support that idea that they are the largest mammal. I'm going to actually start with my main idea. And I know Miss Wilger talked to you guys about this last week. I could just write elephants, and that would be true. This paragraph was about elephants. It was all about elephants. But we want to be more specific than that, because it wasn't just about elephants. The entire paragraph was about how big elephants are and how much they weigh. So I'm going to use that first sentence and say elephants are the largest living land mammals. Elephants are the largest living land mammals. That's going to be my main idea. So every single sentence and detail up here needs to be about that. I'm not going to write elephants are scared of mice. That has nothing to do with how elephants are the largest living land mammals. So every single detail should be about that. And as I look at the paragraph, every sentence is about that. So I can pick some different ones. So one I'm going to pick is near the beginning. It's that the Asian elephant weighs 11,000 pounds. That's going to be my first detail. And I can even check, is that about how big an elephant is? Yes, it is. So that's going to be a good detail to this main idea. And then I look back and I'm going to pick a different one that supports that main idea. And I'm going to do the one about a baby elephant. So I'm going to say baby elephants weigh 260 pounds. And again, I can check back. Does that have to do about elephants being the biggest? Yes, it does. And so it's a good detail. It supports that main idea. And the last one I'm going to do is that fact about the largest elephant. So I'm going to say the largest elephant was 13 feet tall and 24,000 pounds. So I want you to do what makes the most sense to you when looking at that main idea. What I do is I read a paragraph. I often look at the beginning to think about if they write a sentence near the beginning that gives that main idea. And then I for sure look at all the different sentences, and you're just asking yourself, what is this whole thing about? What's the biggest topic? And then your details can be sentences from that text, from that paragraph, that are all about that main idea. Every single one. There shouldn't be anything up here that doesn't have something to do with this. They all should go with that main idea. That's why these little lines kind of come off here like this, to represent that. No, I'm not drinking afternoon coffee. That would be a horrible idea. Why would you suggest that? All right, let's review what we have gone over today. So, remember that the main idea of a text is what is that text all about? What's the big picture? And then the details are sentences that support that main idea. Sentences from the text that told you that that's what the text was all about. They should always have to do with that main idea. So we want you to be able to define these to say, if I said, hey, what's the main idea? I want you to say, oh, that's what the text is all about. And the details support that. And then we also want you to be able to identify the main idea. So this week, when you're doing your activities, we're going to ask you to read something and say, this is what the main idea is, and here's some details that support that, just like I showed you today with that paragraph about elephants. All right. Well, we love you and miss you. I hope you are staying healthy and safe, and have a good week.